Okay, guys. Today we're going to talk about what I call the Dinar protocol. And the reason why I'm titling it this way is because um, I've seen a general consensus as to what the appropriate steps or what we perceive the appropriate steps would be in order for us to move forward with the dinar and be ready for it. Um, so what you see on the screen here today, it's going to be a very short video. Um, I want to talk about a 5-step plan that will help us be a little bit more prepared for um, the happening of the dinar being revalued. So, anyways, if you do plan on investing in the dinar, whenever you have the chance and you have the money, the first thing that I think would be wise to do is calculate the amount of dinar you need to purchase for foundational funding. And that's a very important thing. We're going to get into that into the next slide. Then you're going to place your order with any trusted site. For here, I put safedinar.com. I've heard that they provide you certificates, legitimate certificates to prove the fact that you have um, real dinars. They're not like, I don't know, some photocopies or some fake ones being generated. So I guess they verify the authenticity of this actual currency paper that you have in your hands. So that's why I would probably recommend them. However, there is a little bit more processes that you would have to go through that are not as convenient once you use safedinar.com. Um, but you can always use their customer service for it to become more feasible for you to get closer to purchasing. The other thing is you can go on many different places to purchase the dinar. Again, we just don't know the authenticity of what you're going to be purchasing. Um, Another thing that I would recommend is to secure a local bank or exchange forum that will exchange it back from you once the dinar ends up revaluating. Um, I believe that with Safe Dinar, people can they will buy it back. I have called local banks to see, you know, are they actively having this exchange available for people who have the dinar. Most places I have called, I have not gotten a lot of luck. I've gotten no back to back. I did speak to a good friend of mine, and he did mention that there's a great likelihood that once it does revalue, a lot more banks who did not list it on their chain to or in the back office, excuse me, in their back office to be able to exchange, because this would be a great opportunity for them to make money off of this particular event. It would be very unbusiness savvy for them not to have it available as an exchange, to be able to exchange. So I do believe that going forward, as we get closer to the time, more banks will allow it. You never know why they're not allowing it right now, even though there's a lot of things in the works in the back end. It could be, they don't want people to feel like this is going to be an investment opportunity. Um, some of them just really don't know, and they really don't have that option available for them at their particular bank. But there are varying banks that I've rarely found, which I still haven't found, but they will accept your ability to exchange this. And again, as I speak on this, you can definitely, I believe that safedinar.com says that they will buy it back from people who purchased it from them. I don't know if they will buy it back from people who didn't purchase from them. So that's something that people would have to look into. The next point, which is the fourth point, you want to calculate the current tax bracket that you're in so you will know how much tax you're going to have to pay back. This is very important because this will affect the foundational funding phase one. If you look at step one, that's going to affect the amount that you've pre calculated that you probably needed for your foundational funding phase of whatever that's going to include. Then when the dinar actually revalues, the thing is you would like to ideally cash out 80 to 100%. Now, if you only do 80, and you're holding on to 20% just to see what will happen, there's nothing wrong with that. It's, so many people had different and varying dreams or visions or revelations about different price points for the dinar. And so most people concluded that it would be safe to cash out at around $1 to $2. We have heard particular prophecies that mention even up to, I think, 3, 4, 5, and the highest I've heard is 10. So if you're, but I've also heard that the higher it is, the likelihood of it being accessible to exchange is going to be much harder. Um, I do know that in July, Iraq they intend to pretty much make everything go digital. I'm kind of thinking that if they make everything digital in terms of how their monetary system functions, I'm thinking that they're going to want to quickly do away with these cash, um, you know, the cash currency, and so um, that's gonna be very interesting. But I think I have an inkling that around all of this time, um, the reevaluation may, you know, it won't be, to me, I don't think it would be too far off. So if you're gonna wait to, cash out that 20%, it will probably be harder. And if it is harder, just make sure you understand the value of what you're giving up, which is 20%. 20% is money is still money, but it doesn't hurt to wait out that 20%, or if you want to just do 10% of whatever that amount would be. So on this slide here, I talk about an example that will give you a vivid picture of what you're looking at and how you need to prepare and how you need to adequately calculate in order for you to be in a reasonable position when it revalues. So the first step out of the 5-step process that I talked about was calculate the amount of dinar you need for foundational funding. So, example, if you have a house that you either want to pay off or that you want to completely buy out, a car that you want to pay off or a car that you want to completely buy off, credit card debt, student loans, people that you owe money, family gift giving, like, maybe you wanted to do something special for your mom or your dad or that loved one that's always been there for you. Also, you're giving to God, you're tithing to God. Further investments, which a lot of people have also talked about, certain cryptocurrencies, um, and initial funding for your business or your businesses. All of that needs to be really planned and well calculated. And let me show you why. So let's say all of what I just mentioned in the example, the house, the credit card, so on and so forth, totals up to $2 million. If it totals up to $2 million, and you are in a 22% tax bracket federally, and let's say state is 5%, that's a total of 27% of your $2 million. I did put up here in the little bubble that each state is different on their percentage in terms of how much you pay by state on your tax returns. So that's going to affect the bracket, the total percentage that I'm talking about over here. So if you are in the United States, you'd have to look up individually what your state is. The other thing is, and the other thing is federally, it's going to be based on the percentage depending on how much you actually make. Like the 22%, I chose it. I think if you make anywhere between 40,000 and up to 100,000, I believe federally you would be taxed 22%. So let's say you live in a state that charges you 5%. So you're going to add those two together, which equals the 27%. And that 27% is going to be taken out of your 2 million, the 2 million that you just calculated that you needed exactly that much for you to get all of the things that we just mentioned in the example. Now, that's going to leave you, when you subtract that, that's going to leave you with 1,460. That's the amount that is going to leave you with. You're going to be missing, or you'll be short $540,000. To some people that may be like, oh, I can live with that, and to some people that can really make or break you, because maybe it's the amount that you needed to get out of particular debts and to help your family members, the initial funding and just everything. What I would suggest you do is plan to purchase more than the amount that you need, so more than that 2 million you would need in order for you to be at the exact sweet spot that you were planning for. Now, does it mean everything that we're calculating is going to go as planned? No, but you want to be as close to it as possible. I think this goes, God rewards people who are very diligent and who are not lazy with their work ethic and the way they do things. All of this is part of important planning. Faith without works is dead. You can have faith all you want that this wealth transfer is going to happen, that the Dinar is going to revalue, but yet you've made no effort to actually purchase anything, or it could be something small. Just go by faith. And if I believe Safe Dinar has a minimum of $500, and let's say you're like, oh my gosh, I do not have $500. Well, again, you can research other sites that are credible, that allow you to purchase the Dinar, that don't have these minimums, and you work with what you have. So I just want to put that out there. I want to be clear on that, and I just want us to understand that you may have thought this plan out very well in terms of the amount you would need, and then boom, you get hit with the tax base off of your tax bracket, and you're like, oh my God, these people just they just tried to wipe me out. You don't want to be in that position. You want to be a little bit more prepared. So you would buy a lot more. You would calculate the amount that you would need to get to that 2 million. So if you have to purchase, I'm not the best at doing math. So if you have to purchase uh, for up to 3,500,000 when it revalues, for it to be subtracted and for it to get you to that $2 million point, that's what you need to do. So I think that that's very helpful for us to think about, ponder on, and get our stuff together, because I do believe that things are getting a lot closer than we probably expected to be. We want to be on the prepared side than the less prepared. And I heard someone say, I don't remember who I was watching. I think it was Robin Cunningham. He said, don't expect the reevaluation of the dinar until, I think he said, more talks of World War III, or an actual World War III. I don't remember the exact language, but I say this to say, we're very close, guys. Hang in there. In my last video, I don't know how many of you guys actually tuned in and watched or listened in. I mentioned that it's critical for us to pray and contend for our inheritance. I felt that strong inkling in my spirit at the end of February. I was getting attacked like crazy, and the attacks were not just for me, but it was for the corporate body. It was for us to understand, let's not take things so light. There is a fight, and we don't want that it is our children that's going to end up being the leaders of the wealth transfer. We want to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. We don't want any more delays. We want whatever it is that God has promised, our inheritance, we want it to manifest now. And I had no idea how important it is to really, really stay in the presence of the Lord and pray. Do I mean we need to be robotic? No, but in this season, in order for us to cross over, we need to really cling on to Him. We need to really, really stay in the spirit of praise and worship, being more vigilant so we can watch and pray and have more discernment with whatever's going on. I'm also hoping that um, you flock to those who truly are hearing what God is saying in this hour, because there is a lot of manipulation, not only in the market, but in the media. There's a lot of manipulation in how, I guess, people are wanting us to perceive things so we can have that chaos within and extinguish the peace that God is giving us in this moment. In this moment, we should get, as much as it's going to be scary, we need to know that it's going to be an exciting time, because this is where we get rewarded. There is no glory without the darkness. And so we need to know that we're going to be okay in these situations that are going to happen. And we should actually get more excited, because this is where we're going to shine. We will not be, well, one, we will fight the good fight of faith. And two, we will not be suppressed, oppressed, and depressed and conformed into whatever the world is trying to put on us, whatever the enemy wants to paint on the whole economy. That spirit of depression will not be our portion. That spirit of oppression will not be our portion, nor will the spirit of suppression be our portion. So I want to put that out there, to know we need to be defiant in our stance with what the enemy is trying to cloak over us. As I'm speaking to you guys right now, I just sense the Spirit of the Lord showing me how the enemy wants to design an attire for us that is not meant to fit us. It is his attire that his glory, that, well, he doesn't have glory, that his darkness overtake him, where he's going to go and burn in hell. It is not our portion for us to be doom and gloom. God says he comes to give us peace and to give us life and to give it more abundantly. So us feeling that spirit of heaviness and depression, if it's not like a warning that God is trying to push you into prayer, other than that, it's not for us. We need to be his joy is our strength. So we need to be in the moment of relishing and thanking him for what he's going to do. No matter how dark it gets, just remember this is the moment that God has been waiting for us to shine. How will people know that there is a God when in darkness his people are perishing and we're not able to be set as an example? God is going to show up at this time, and we will truly portray his light within us, because of the fact that we were able to navigate certain storms but for his Holy Spirit. And people are going to want that same spirit, because they're gonna want some of that glory. They're going to want to be a part of the movement that's happening, because they realize without without the peace that we have, there is no lifeboat for them. There is no sense of safety or peace for them. And so I just want to put that out there. I'll see you guys in my next videos. Bye.